Have you ever wondered what words never spoken could have changed everything in your life? What if the only letter that held the power to heal wounds, to reveal truth, to restore love, was written but never sent? Somewhere in the silence of time, hidden inside a folded piece of paper, lies a story that was meant to be read, a revelation that could have turned pain into peace, but instead, it became a secret buried forever. Imagine the weight of knowing that one letter, one last goodbye, one final confession could have rewritten destiny, but no one ever saw it. This is not just a story about paper and ink. It is about you, about me, about all of us who have carried words unspoken, promises broken, and goodbyes that came too late. The truth is that behind every sealed envelope, behind every unsent letter, there is a storm of emotions that people rarely talk about.
There is the regret of not saying what should have been. There is the pain of holding back when love begged to be expressed. There is the haunting memory of a revelation that was supposed to change everything, but instead was trapped in silence. When you think of a goodbye that was never delivered, you realize it is more than just a moment. It is the echo of a life, a powerful reminder of how fragile time is.
And the question that keeps burning is simple. Why do we wait until it's too late? This letter that you are about to hear was written on the day someone decided to leave. It carried truth, hidden secrets, and promises never fulfilled. It had the power to change everything, to mend broken hearts, to set someone free. But the words never reached their destination. They were locked away, and destiny took a different turn. And now we are left with the shadow of what could have been. How many times have you felt the same? How many times have you kept silent when your heart screamed to speak? This is why this story is more than a story. It is a mirror, reflecting the weight of every unspoken word in our lives. As you listen, I want you to think about your own life. Think about the goodbyes you never said, the forgiveness you never gave, the love you never confessed. Think about the promises you never fulfilled, the secrets you never revealed. Each one of us has a letter written in the heart, a revelation hidden in silence, a powerful secret that could change everything if only it were spoken. This is not fiction. This is reality. Across America, in every city, in every small town, in every quiet home, there are stories like this one. Stories of love lost because words were never delivered. Stories of families broken because truth was hidden. Stories of hearts aching because goodbyes came too late. The letter we are about to uncover is not just a letter. It is a warning. It whispers to us that time is precious, that silence is dangerous, that what is left unsaid can haunt us forever. And yet, in the middle of the pain, there is still a promise that words once spoken have the power to heal, to restore, to transform lives. That is why you cannot turn away now. Because in the next moments, you are going to hear something that may reflect your own life more deeply than you ever imagined. This story is about a letter, but it is also about you. It is about the choices you make, the truths you hide, and the goodbyes you delay. And as we step deeper into this revelation, you will see why this message could have changed everything. And maybe that is why this moment matters so much. Because you and I are not just listening to a story. We are standing face to face with a truth that demands a response. Life is too fragile, time is too short, and silence is too costly. The words left unsaid in this letter could have changed everything, but they were trapped. Today, you have the chance to break that silence. You have the chance to speak, to pray, to ask, to cry out, and to let the world know that your story is not finished yet. This is why I want to invite you right now to do something powerful. Leave your prayer request in the comments below. Write it with honesty, with courage, with faith. Because we are not just here to tell stories. We are here to pray for you, to lift your name, to stand together as a family that believes in hope, in healing, and in restoration. Every comment is more than words on a screen. It is a cry of the heart, and when we unite in prayer, heaven listens. You are not alone in your pain. You are not forgotten in your silence. You are seen, you are heard, and we will stand with you. As you write your prayer request, know this: someone will be praying for you. We will be praying over every comment, believing that even if the letter in this story was never delivered, your prayer will not be lost. It will reach heaven, it will move hearts, and it can change destinies. This is your chance to open your heart and release the words you have been holding back. Do not wait until it is too late. Right now, because your voice matters. And while you are here, take a moment to give this video a like, because every like helps this message reach more people who need it desperately. Subscribe to this channel and join this journey with us, because every week we are bringing you powerful stories, revelations, and prayers that can transform lives. When you subscribe and turn on notifications, you are not just following a channel, you are becoming part of a movement of faith, a family that shares hope in a world that is losing it. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Maybe they are carrying a silent goodbye. Maybe they are holding on to a letter never sent. Maybe they are on the edge of giving up, thinking no one sees them. You could be the one who delivers hope when it matters most. You could be the one who helps them realize it is not too late to speak, not too late to pray, not too late to change everything. This is not just a video. It is an invitation to connection, to faith, to community. And it begins with your comment, your prayer, your step of faith right now. Have you ever felt the weight of silence pressing on your chest? The kind of silence that speaks louder than any words ever could. This is the silence of a letter never delivered. A letter that was written with trembling hands on the very day someone chose to walk away. That paper carried more than ink. It carried regret. It carried hidden truth. It carried the kind of love that only reveals itself when it is almost too late. Imagine holding in your hands something that could have changed everything, but instead, it was hidden, folded away, locked in a drawer, forgotten by time. The promise of revelation never came. The words that could have healed never reached the heart they were meant for. And the destiny of an entire life shifted because silence spoke louder than love. Think about this. How many of us are living with words unspoken? Across America, in cities filled with lights and towns hidden in the quiet countryside, people are walking with ghosts of what could have been. A father who never said he was proud. A mother who never whispered that final prayer of blessing. A lover who held back the truth of their heart until the moment passed forever. Each unspoken word is like a stone added to the weight we carry. And sometimes that weight is heavier than grief itself, because grief comes after loss, but silence comes while someone is still alive, and it leaves us wondering every day, what if? The letter that was never sent in this story is not only about one person, it is about all of us. It is about the moments when we choose silence instead of honesty, fear instead of love, pride instead of humility, and when we choose silence, time does not wait. Doors close, people leave, and the opportunity to speak truth is gone. That is why stories like this are so powerful, because they mirror our own hidden wounds. They remind us of the power of words, the urgency of speaking before it is too late. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a letter written for you. Imagine the envelope with your name on it, waiting but never arriving. Inside are words that could change your life, words of forgiveness, words of love, words that could guide you through the darkest nights. But you never see them. They remain trapped in silence. Would you live differently if you knew they existed? Would you search every corner to find them? Or would you accept the silence, even as it breaks your heart a little more each day? This is the haunting truth of the letter that was never delivered. And yet, there is something even deeper here. Because even in the silence, even in the absence of words, there is still a cry. There is still a longing, There is still a promise waiting to be spoken. That is why prayer is so powerful. Because prayer takes the place of the words we never said. Prayer reaches beyond silence. Prayer goes where letters cannot. When we pray, we release the weight of the unspoken. We put into God's hands what our lips failed to say. And that is why I want to remind you now. Your silence does not have to be the end of the story. As you listen to this, maybe you feel the sting of your own unspoken letter. Maybe you remember a time when you should have said something, but you didn't. Maybe there is someone in your life right now who still needs to hear what you are holding back. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until it's too late. Words have the power to heal, to restore, to transform, but only if they are spoken, only if they are released before time slips away. That is the warning, the revelation, the promise hidden inside this story. And this is where you come in. Because I don't want this to just be a story you listen to and forget. I want it to be an encounter, a moment that stirs your heart and moves you to action. That is why I am asking you right now to write in the comments your own unspoken words. Share a name, share a thought, share even a single phrase. You can even just type "too late" if you feel the weight of this story in your own life. Or you can write "never sent" to declare that you refuse to let silence hold you back any longer. Every comment matters, because every comment is a step toward healing, a step toward truth, a step toward community. And as you comment, know that you are not just writing to a screen. You are writing to a family of people who will pray for you, who will lift up your name, who will believe with you for hope, healing, and restoration. Like this video so that more people can find it. Subscribe so you can walk with us on this journey of truth and revelation, and share it with someone who may need it more than you realize. Together, we are not just breaking silence, we are rewriting stories. Picture that room again. The candle flickers on the table, its flame dancing like the last breath of hope. Shadows stretching across the walls as if they are trying to hold on to something that is slipping away. The suitcase by the door is not just luggage. It is the symbol of a decision that has already been made, a silent announcement that someone is walking away for good. And in the center of it all lies a single letter, folded neatly, waiting to be delivered, waiting to be read, waiting to change the course of everything. But it never happened. The ink dried, the paper aged, and the truth remained trapped, a revelation hidden in silence. In that house, the loudest sound was not the slam of the door, nor the footsteps fading away. It was the silence, the heavy silence that lingered long after the candle went out. This is not just one family's story. It is a reflection of countless families across America, from the busy streets of New York to the quiet towns in the Midwest, from homes filled with laughter to houses burdened with secrets. There are letters like this everywhere. Letters never sent. Letters never read. Letters that held words powerful enough to heal old wounds or open them wider. Words of forgiveness never spoken. Confessions never made. Goodbyes never heard. And behind each of those silent pages is a person left wondering, what could have been different? What could have changed if the letter had reached its destination? This is not fiction. This is real life. Think about how fragile moments really are. One sentence can restore a relationship or end it forever. One revelation can set a soul free or lock it in chains of regret. This is why stories like this matter. They remind us of the urgency of time, the danger of silence, the cost of holding back truth. The person who wrote that letter believed that writing the words was enough, that maybe one day they would find the courage to deliver them. But that day never came. And so the letter sat still, a silent witness of what could have been, a secret never shared, a truth never known. And maybe you can feel this in your own life. Maybe you have a memory that looks just like that room. A suitcase packed in a hurry, a candle burning low, a goodbye left hanging in the air. Maybe you have written words you never delivered, words still tucked away in an old journal or hidden in the back of your mind. Or maybe you are the one waiting for words that never came. The pain of absence is sharp, but the pain of silence is even deeper, because it forces you to live with questions that will never be answered. Imagine the person who left that letter behind. Their hands shook as they wrote. Their heart pounded as they confessed what they never dared to say out loud. Every word carried weight. Every sentence was a plea, a hope, a last attempt to be heard. But fear won. Pride won. Silence won. And so they walked away, leaving behind not just a home, but a piece of their soul sealed inside an envelope. That envelope was not just paper. It was the doorway to forgiveness, to healing, to truth. But the door was never opened. Now imagine the one who never received it. They lived their days without knowing that someone had tried, even if too late, to reach them. They carried anger, or sadness, or emptiness, not realizing that the letter they needed, the words they longed for, had been written, but never shared. They lived in the shadow of silence, haunted by a revelation they never knew existed. And maybe, if you are honest, you see yourself in that person too. You wonder if somewhere, hidden in silence, there was a letter written for you, a truth never spoken, a goodbye never delivered. And this is why this story matters, because it is not just about the past. It is about the present. It is about what we do with our words today, right now, before the silence steals them away. It is about recognizing that every moment counts, that every word has power, that love and forgiveness lose their strength if we wait until tomorrow. The day everything could have changed never came, not because the words weren't written, but because they weren't delivered. And maybe this is the lesson we all need to hear, that silence is louder than words, and regret is heavier than truth. So as you listen to this, let it not just be a story you hear, but a mirror you look into. Ask yourself, what letter are you holding back? What words are still locked inside your heart? Who needs to hear them before it is too late? Because if one letter can hold the power to change everything, then one moment of courage can hold the power to rewrite your destiny. What does it really mean to carry the weight of words that were never spoken? To hold inside your chest a goodbye you never received? It is not only about the absence of a voice, it is about the empty spaces those words were supposed to fill. It means birthdays that pass by without a phone call, a candle burning on the cake with no one there to blow it out with you. It means an empty chair at the dinner table, a place that should have been occupied, but instead remains a reminder of absence. It means silent prayers whispered in the dark before bed, prayers that no one else ever hears, because the person you were praying for is no longer there to answer. The letter left behind was not just paper with ink, it was healing that never arrived, forgiveness that never reached its destination, love that was written but never expressed. And sometimes the absence of words screams louder than the words themselves. The weight of unspoken words is a burden that does not disappear with time. In fact, time often makes it heavier. Each day that passes without the truth being spoken adds another stone to the heart, another shadow to the mind, another ache to the soul. Unspoken words are like ghosts. They follow you into every room. They whisper in the silence. They echo in the moments when you are most vulnerable. They remind you of what was lost, of what could have been, of the love that remained hidden. And no matter how much you try to move forward, those words cling to you, pulling you back into the silence. Think of a child growing up without ever hearing the words, "I am proud of you." Think of a mother waiting her whole life to hear, "I forgive you," but dying with that question still unanswered. Think of two lovers separated by pride, each one holding a letter in their hearts, but never daring to send it. These are not just stories, they are realities. In every city, in every town, there are countless people living under the weight of unspoken words. It is not just their pain, it is our collective story, because all of us carry, at some point, the scars of silence. The letter that was never delivered in this story carried exactly that kind of weight. Inside it were sentences that could have mended wounds, words that could have built a bridge, promises that could have turned anger into peace, but none of it reached the one who needed it most. And because of that, silence became the loudest truth, louder than love, louder than forgiveness, louder than hope. And the silence did what silence always does. It multiplied the pain. Perhaps as you listen now, you feel the pull of your own unspoken words. Maybe you remember a night when you wanted to say something, but fear kept your lips closed. Maybe you wrote messages you never sent, or held on to apologies you never spoke out loud. Maybe there is someone in your life right now who is waiting, even if they will never admit it, for you to speak the words that are locked inside your heart. The truth is that words are alive. They do not die when we keep them inside. Instead, they grow heavier and heavier until the weight becomes unbearable. And that is the danger of silence. Silence convinces us that there will always be more time, that we can wait for tomorrow, that the right moment will eventually come. But tomorrow is not promised, and every day we choose silence. We gamble with destiny. We risk losing the chance to heal, to love, to forgive, to speak life into someone who might desperately need it. The letter never delivered is proof of that. A life could have been changed. A story could have been rewritten. But because silence won, regret became the ending. Now, I want to ask you something important. Have you ever carried unspoken words in your heart? Have you ever felt the crushing weight of a goodbye that never came? Maybe tonight is the moment to let some of that weight go. Write in the comments the words you have been holding back. You do not need to share every detail if you are not ready, but you can start by writing something simple. You could type unspoken if you know this story is speaking to your own silence. You could write still waiting if you have been longing for words that never arrived. Or you could write forgive if there is forgiveness you wish you had spoken sooner. Your comment is more than engagement. It is a release. It is a prayer. It is the first step toward breaking the silence. And as you write, know that we will be praying for you, that your story will not be ignored, and that your words, this time, will not remain unspoken. Inside those fragile lines was more than ink on a page. It was the confession of a father who never knew how to say the words out loud, the cry of a son who could no longer carry the silence, the last memory of a lover who had run out of chances. Whatever version you imagine, the pain is real, the weight is undeniable. The letter could have changed everything. It could have rewritten destinies, turned bitterness into forgiveness, turned separation into reconciliation, turned despair into hope. But destiny waited too long, and when the envelope was finally discovered, the dust of time had already covered it. The words were still alive on the paper, but the moment to deliver them had already died. And maybe that is why this story cuts so deep, because it is not just about one letter, one family, or one goodbye. It is about all of us. Every one of us carries, somewhere in our heart, a letter unwritten, a truth unspoken, a goodbye hidden in silence. The truth hidden in the letter was not dramatic in the way movies portray it. It was simple, raw, human. It was a father whispering through ink that he was sorry for not being there, for missing birthdays, for letting pride speak louder than love. It was a son admitting that the anger he carried was only a mask to hide his longing to be embraced, to be accepted, to be forgiven. It was a lover confessing that the distance was never about not caring, but about fear of rejection, fear of vulnerability, fear of speaking what the heart had always known. These are the truths that stay locked away, and when they finally surface, they feel like both a gift and a wound. A gift because we finally see the hidden heart, and a wound because we realize it came too late. Think of how many lives are shaped by words never spoken. How many fathers die with confessions never shared. How many sons grow old still waiting to hear, "I'm proud of you." How many lovers spend years haunted by the silence of what could have been? The truth hidden in the letter is not unique. It is universal. It is the story of families torn apart by pride, of friendships broken by misunderstandings, of hearts aching because silence won the battle. And when we finally discover those truths, they feel like a knife that cuts both ways. On one hand, there is relief in knowing the words existed, that the feelings were real. On the other hand, there is the crushing grief of realizing those words were never delivered in time to heal, to change, to restore. The letter in this story reminds us of the fragility of time. It whispers that moments slip through our fingers faster than we think, that opportunities vanish before we recognize them. Silence may feel safe in the moment, but silence steals futures. Silence erases possibilities. Silence is the thief of destiny. And the hidden truth in this letter is not just about one family's pain, but about the warning it carries for all of us. Do not let your words die inside you. Do not let your truth stay locked away. Because one day, when the letter is finally opened, it may be too late for the person who needed to hear it. As you reflect on this, I want you to picture your own life. What truths are you hiding inside? What confessions have you left unwritten? What love have you left unspoken? Maybe you have been holding back an apology. Maybe you have been waiting for the perfect moment to say, I love you, or I forgive you. Maybe you have been silent because fear tells you it is safer that way. But fear is a liar, and silence is its weapon. And the truth hidden inside your heart deserves to be spoken before the moment is lost. Think of the power your words could have if spoken today. They could bring healing to someone who has carried pain for years. They could bring light into a heart that has grown cold. They could bring freedom to someone trapped in regret. That is the lesson behind the truth hidden in this letter. Words matter, timing matters, and love loses its strength if it waits too long. Now, I want you to take a step of courage. In the comments below, share one word that represents the truth you have been holding back. It doesn't have to be long. It can be as simple as love, or forgive, or sorry. Maybe for you the word is too late, because you know the pain of silence. Or maybe it is still here, because you refuse to let your truth die inside. Writing that word may feel small, but it is an act of breaking the silence, of opening the letter that was never delivered. And when you write it, know this: you are not alone. Your truth matters, your voice matters, and even if the letter in this story came too late, yours does not have to. So what do we do when the words come too late? We learn, we listen, and we allow the silence of yesterday to teach us the urgency of today. We recognize that tomorrow is not promised, and that silence, if left unchecked, steals more lives than death ever will. Because the truth is this: death takes the body, but silence takes the soul. It steals the chance for reconciliation, the chance for forgiveness, the chance for love to be spoken before it's too late. That is why this story is not just about regret. It is not simply a sad memory written on a forgotten page. This story is a warning, a reminder, and above all, a calling. A calling to speak now, to love now, to forgive now. Think about the voices in your own life. Who is still waiting to hear something from you? Who is carrying a wound that only your words can heal? The tragedy of the letter never delivered is not that the words were never written, it is that they were never spoken. The heart behind them was real, the love was real, the confession was real, but silence locked it away. And silence is merciless. It doesn't care how deep your love is, or how much you regret, or how powerful your words could have been. If you don't speak them, they die with you. That is why this story echoes like thunder through the halls of our lives. Speak today, because tomorrow may be too late. And maybe right now you feel the sting of those unspoken words. Maybe you are remembering a moment when you stayed quiet because you thought there would be more time. Maybe you let pride stop you from saying, I'm sorry. Maybe fear held you back from saying, "I love you." Maybe bitterness silenced your voice when all you needed to say was, "I forgive you." Whatever your story is, I know this. You cannot change the past, but you can choose what you do with today. And today, your silence does not have to win. Imagine for a moment if the letter had been delivered in time. Imagine the father's confession reaching the son before he grew old and hardened. Imagine the lover's final words being read before the door closed forever. Imagine forgiveness spoken when the wound was still fresh enough to heal. The story could have been different. The destinies could have been rewritten. The pain could have been transformed into healing, but it wasn't. And that is why we must learn from it. Because we are all writing letters with our lives, and whether they reach their destination depends on what we choose to do with the time we are given. This is not just about letters. It is about goodbyes you never said, prayers you never spoke, truths you never confessed. It is about the empty chairs and the birthdays without calls, about the messages left unanswered and the phone calls that never came. It is about the tears shed in silence, because someone waited too long to say what needed to be said. And it is about you, because right now, you are being reminded that your words carry power, your truth carries weight, and your silence carries consequences. So I ask you again, who would you write a letter to today, before it's too late? Who needs to hear your words now? This is not about writing on paper. This is about writing on hearts. Your words are seeds, and if you plant them today, they can grow into forgiveness, into healing, into love that lasts beyond the silence. But if you keep them hidden, they will rot inside, and one day you will wish you had spoken while you had the chance. And here is the beauty of this moment. You still have time. As long as you are breathing, as long as your heart is beating, you have the chance to speak the truth that has been waiting inside of you. Do not let fear rob you. Do not let pride silence you. Do not let regret become your only story. Let this video be the turning point, the reminder that you can break the silence today. At the end of this story, there is no simple resolution. There is only a choice. The choice to stay quiet, or the choice to speak. The choice to let silence steal your destiny, or the choice to let truth set you free. And while you think about that, I want you to take one simple step. Leave a comment below. Write the name of the person you would write to if you had one more chance, or write the words you wish you had spoken. You can even keep it simple. Type forgive, type love, type I'm sorry, or even just too late, if you know the weight of silence in your own life. Whatever word you choose, let it be a declaration that your voice will not remain hidden anymore. Because this is not just about one story, this is about all of us. Every one of us has carried silence. Every one of us has hidden truths. And every one of us has the chance to choose differently today. And if this story touched your heart, if it opened something inside of you, then you need to stay with us. Because what comes next is even more powerful. The next story is about the last phone call that was never answered. A story of desperation, of hope, of a voice lost forever in the static of time. You will not want to miss it. If this story moved something inside of you, don't let it stop here. Subscribe to this channel right now so you don't miss the next story that could touch your heart even deeper. If you stayed with me until the very end, I want you to prove it. Leave a comment below with the words, "Never too late." So I know you are part of this family that refuses to let silence win. And if this video spoke to you in any way, give it a like right now, because every like helps this message reach someone else who needs it. And remember, this is not the end. The next story is waiting for you. The next video is already on the screen. The last phone call that was never answered. Click it, watch it, and let's continue this journey together.